Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Binford Chronicles. I hope you guys are having a great week. Happy Thursday. Today I was thinking about it, and I've been thinking about this all week. We've got data centers that are going up everywhere. They are affecting the lives of people. There's a lot of talk about what's going on. I've never heard what a data center sounds like. So, what I did is I decided I'm going to go and do some research and find out what people are saying about data centers that actually live near data centers, where data centers are going up in the rural areas and the farmland. What's happening? You know, I know here in Florida, we have been experiencing some of that. Port St. Lucie, there was a big piece of property in South Port St. Lucie, and an investor, was setting up over there to put up a data center. And the citizens came together and they really didn't want that to happen. So it wasn't approved. So then in 2026, Governor Ron DeSantis wrote SB 484, and that's supposed to put restrictions on data centers to help protect us. And in Florida, it's really a serious thing because we live on a sandbar, guys. Florida is all sand. If you've ever been to Pensacola, the sand is white and it squeaks under your feet like it's snow. And if you come down to the different beaches here along the Treasure Coast side, not in the Gulf side, you'll have different granular beaches. You'll have some beaches that are very pebbly, some beaches where the shells just have fallen apart and it's just a rougher type sand that really sticks to your body. And then you have the smoother beaches here. But we are living on a sandbar here in Florida. So St. Lucie County, this is what happened. I'm looking at my notes. St. Lucie County, near Fort Pierce, a project called Sentinel Grove Technology Park was to be a massive proposed AI data center campus. And the St. Lucie Planning and Zoning Commission voted against its request necessary land for necessary land use changes in October of 2025. And I'm really glad that happened because as I'm looking at these videos of people that are talking about the data centers, and this is, people like you and I, grassroots people that are trying to bring awareness of, hey guys, we love technology, we love chat GTP, we love all this stuff, and they're telling us all this good stuff about data centers, but is it really true? So let me leave you with that. And we're going to come back, and I've got some clips and videos I want to show you of these people talking about their experiences so that we can have a little bit more information under our bellies so that when somebody's purchasing land out here in Florida near you, because we have so much beautiful land, we are more aware and we understand what can happen to our communities. So let me take a short break for Two for America. Please listen to this short break video. I would like you to join us so we all can pray for America around the nation. Stand by.
We're going to stop the whole world for 2 minutes. Twice. 2 different moments, 2 historical moments. First, we will gather everyone in Christian ministry, from the pastors to the janitors, in every church and ministry from the 194 nations, to pray for America, all at the same moment in time, for the first time ever, on July 3rd, on the eve of America's 250th birthday. To then kick off the global sign-up of 2 billion believers led through the unique app technology for one singular global moment of awakening on November 1st, 2026, All Saints Day, a Sunday, 2 days before America's elections. The global Christian ministry leaders and servants leading the world to a seminal moment in American history. The moment the entire world stops to pay America back by praying for America for 2 minutes.
All right, guys, welcome back to Binford Chronicles. I'm glad you're joining me tonight. I really want to focus on getting some information out there on data centers because data centers are coming whether you like it or not. And we still have a voice in what happens and how we want our environment to be in our towns, in our small towns. So let's take a look at a few videos that are going to show you some information and people talking about these data centers. And I want you to really take it in because I'm going to want to know how you feel about this. And is this something that you are all for? Is it something you're not for? Um, are there any resolutions that you think could happen? But mostly, I'm concerned about Florida because, like I was saying earlier, we live on a sandbar, guys. We have an aquifer underneath us. We have sinkholes that happen here in Florida. I remember back maybe 10 years, we heard about sinkholes. I haven't heard of any sinkholes recently, but those things happen in Florida. You could just be right in your front yard, and the street in front of you just opens wide open. And I think Florida is more susceptible to things like that if we're not careful with our environment, with our water, with our lakes, our rivers, and it's something we really need to think about. So let me share this first video and let me get over here. Oops, I went down a little bit too far. Hang on. Here we go.
You can't miss the loud drone driving along Loudoun County Parkway near Waxpool Road. Even rolling up the window doesn't drown it out. And the closer you get to this data center, the noise grows louder, especially on the Loudoun County Parkway side. We measured the sound using an app and hit 90 decibels, a level considered high that requires ear protection if there's sustained exposure. Some residents started posting about the noise on the Ring app over the weekend. Some of them live miles away and could still hear this. Among the posts, anyone hear the low frequency hum in the area? I'm over a mile from the nearest data center. Never really noticed it this loud until now. And another, heard it all night until 2 p.m. or so, then it stopped for a while. Now it's running again. I live 5 miles from there. Yet another resident reported driving by and seeing black smoke coming from the top, something we saw too. We drove to a neighborhood at least a mile away in Sterling and could hear a much softer but still detectable drone. We learned this is one of several Cloud HQ data centers in the area. At a shopping center across Waxpool on the quieter data center side, we asked folks grabbing lunch to listen. Did you notice that drone at all when you were over here?
I mean, not really. Now that you mention it, I can hear it. Obviously, oh, now I can definitely hear it. No, you can definitely hear it. It's not pleasant.
Take a listen. Does that seem different to you?
It does. It's a little loud. I can say. That's the first time I'm actually hearing it now that you mentioned it to me.
Bothersome if you had to be around it all day?
Luckily, I'm not around it. I drive past.
Wow, and that it's almost sounds like a lawnmower, like a constant lawnmower to me. And you can some of those people, one of those people that were making a complaint were 5 miles away. Can you imagine that? Now, if you live in South Vero, 5 miles would be, let's say, if you're off of Oslo, right? So 5 miles from Oslo, where does that put you? Oh, it's not very far in this town. So you would cover a lot of area. I wanna say it would put you around 20th or a little past 20th. Um, 60, we also call it 60 here. But that's like a constant white noise humming all day long. So, I'm gonna take you to another gentleman who's talking about it. He's in his backyard. Let's move over to him. This is in Michigan, guys.
in the summertime, like I said, we like to have our windows open, and it's hard to when you're listening to that all the time. Yeah, I'd worry about that, the property values, because who's going to want to, if we want to resell the house, who's going to want to buy the house with that noise? No one's going to want to buy it. They'll be like, no, we ain't moving there. I mean, you know, and we liked it here. We've been here since '09, and we loved it here, but now, I don't know. Not the quiet country city living that we've been used to.
Yeah, hey Janet. Janet Morrow is talking to me from Suffolk County, Long Island. They want to put one out there. Janet, do whatever you can to prevent it from happening. Get with the people, pull up videos of people that actually live near them or within a 5 mile radius. The noise pollution is awful. And it's going like this gentleman was talking about property values. I would rather be at closer to an airport than this because this is constant. And imagine on a stormy day when the wind is really blowing, depending where you're standing, that sound is going to carry even louder. And there are some other videos I want to show you that have sound in them as well. So let's move along. There's a young lady that's going to pull up to a data center and let you hear it right there at the data center.
Want to hear how loud a data center is?
You see her window roll down?
It's horrible. So loud.
These are massive too. They are going up like crazy all over the country. There are certain areas that are really getting a lot of it. Arizona, Utah, I've watched some videos. You know, I really didn't know a lot about data centers. I have been distracted by everything else that's going on in the nation, you know, with the war, the Strait of Hormuz, gas prices, trying to figure out how to understand all the politics. You know, Iran, you remember we were talking about Ukraine and Russia and China. It's just been nonstop, hasn't it? It has been nonstop. And so we're focusing on all these different things. And the data centers are just starting to sneak in, but people are putting out, posting those videos so that we can learn from them and talk about them. We need to continuously talk about them so that we can understand what's going on, what it sounds like, what these people are experiencing. Is it bad for the environment? Are they putting them up next to neighborhoods? Are they putting them up without destroying the land? And what happens to the land underneath it? And I know here in Florida, you heard, you know, Byron Donalds. He's not really against the data centers, and he's talking about it's not reclaimed water. It is, if one of you guys can remember what it is, but it's like it's not. I want to say reclaimed water, but it's not. It's more of a controlled inner working. I forget what it is. I'm so sorry. But he talks about that. And I'm just thinking, you know, after seeing these videos with the noise sound of these data centers, we just saw brown smoke puffing out the top of them. How big are they getting? I don't know. Sometimes when you think a good thing is good, it doesn't always turn out to be a good thing. Kind of like our land is, you know, being taken over by all of these solar panels. That's the other thing. You know, in Florida, losing your land to solar panels and those solar panels create a lot of heat under the ground. We still don't know how we're getting rid of the solar panels. So I have another video on the data center noise. So let's take a look at this next video.
Tech companies. And what do communities get?
Now I'm going to stop this. This is Lieberman. He has a really good video. I think I put the link down in my description. He is with I cut it off when I cut the video, but this is a really good video. It's more perfect union, and this is a great video to listen to, so stick around. It gives you quite a bit of information. Hang on. I gotta get my clicker right where it is.
Exchange?
Google's $40 billion announcement.
Tech titans pouring billions of dollars.
$27 billion.
$600 billion.
Skilled tradespeople are needed to build these high-tech centers.
Dozens of jobs.
Everyone's jobs will change.
Hundreds of jobs.
High-paying jobs.
Over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately.
But is that actually true?
They take great care of us. They pay travel. They give us per diem.
A cluster of data centers in your community may not provide you any benefit whatsoever.
And I traveled from my home state of Oregon, which has seen mass layoffs and disappearing tax revenue.
Breaking news, Intel announced that it would be laying off more than 500 people.
That number has since jumped to nearly 2,400 people.
Today, we're going to ask, are the economic trade-offs powering the data center boom actually worth it for the rest of us? The answer is a lot more nuanced than I expected.
And, I wanted to stop it here because, when they're talking about jobs, a lot of these jobs are temporary jobs because they're building the data center, right? They're going to hire all these people and they're flying them in. And towns have to, they have to stay somewhere. So, of course, the real estate goes up with, the bed and breakfasts, the rentals for these people to come and live and stay while they're working. But the number of full-time jobs is really not huge. And what is the benefit that your community is going to get from this data center? We already witnessed testimony of people that live in these areas, and it's going to affect your property values. Are the data centers going to buy your home and give you the profit you would have made if it wasn't there? What's it going to do to the landscape? So let's finish listening to this video. It's a good one. Stick around.
I moved to Oregon 9 months ago for the peace and quiet. It's a rural state, and agriculture has a $42 billion economic footprint here, supporting more than 500,000 jobs. But farmers I spoke to tell me they're under threat.
I'm in Hillsboro, Oregon, and right behind me is an 1800s farmhouse. And 5 years ago, we were surrounded by hundreds of acres of farmland. Today, it's data centers everywhere you look.
These are all data centers. They call this the data center alley of Hillsboro.
There was a tulip farm here. There was a big grass seed operation, an ecosystem of farming that this land supports.
Aaron Nichols is a farmer in Hillsboro, Oregon, 20 miles from where I live in Portland. He was the first stop in my investigation because before digging into the jobs at data centers, I wanted to know what happens to other industries when big tech moves in.
How many people do you employ here on the farm?
We employ about 10 people on our farm on about 15 acres. We could expand and grow more food for more people, but buying land is nearly impossible because people are hoping to hold on to it and sell it for a windfall profit.
And it's not just his business.
We are seeing that here in Indian River County too. We've got a big, huge chunk of land that was sold not to Indian River County investors, but to outside investors. And those investors are doing what these investors here do. They sell it and they're going to make money off it. And what happens is to the residents that live nearby, the small businesses, they can't afford to buy that land because now it's overpriced. And the reason I'm saying that is because when these foreign investors and contractors and investors from different states come in, they're buying the land that's being auctioned because either, for whatever reason it's being auctioned. But when that land gets auctioned like that, it's auctioned in parcels. And the reason it's auctioned in parcels is they want to get rid of it. They want to, get rid of it, sell it, and leave. Dump it. When they move in, they're buying those parcels dirt cheap. It's dirt cheap. And why? Because the average person like you and I can't buy 500 acres. We can't buy 1,000 acres. We can't buy 10,000 acres. So when you're buying a big parcel like that, they sell it cheaper. Now, if we could have bought 10 acres or 1 acre for, $10,000, I bet you a ton of us would be able to buy that property. but they're selling them in parcels. And that is something that the average American just can't compete with. So you've got small businesses, small farmers, people that want to farm, they can't do it. So let's listen to the rest of this. It's really a good video, and check it out.
People that need an automotive shop or that are going to open an electrical firm or a small computer firm, they look at that land price and they're completely out of the market.
Not only are they driving away other businesses, data centers are driving up costs too. Pacific Power and Portland General Electric customers saw a 50% increase in their electricity bills since 2020. Analysts say that data center growth is a major factor. And what's worse, data centers aren't contributing as much money to the community as you might think. That's because Oregon's laws give data centers some $330 million a year in tax breaks.
Now, that's not for everybody, right? That's going to be per state, depending on what your laws are set for these big companies to come in and, set up shop. So it depends on your state. So don't hang on to what Oregon's laws are because Florida's laws are different. And Ron DeSantis did put a bill, SB 484, and I'll show you that at the end of this so that you can see what that bill does.
There are a number of incentive systems to come to Oregon. The enterprise zone is a 5-year no property tax waiver for building industrial or building jobs. Out of that comes schools, parks, fire, police, municipal. We've lost that revenue for 5 years.
Local residents are already seeing the impacts from this lost tax revenue. A report from Good Jobs First found Oregon schools lost $275 million to property tax abatements that could have gone to hire 3,600 teachers.
If they would have paid their annual taxes, their property taxes would have been $7.22 million.
So they're getting about $6.5 million
$6.5 million
off
a year.
their taxes.
That's right, that they're not paying.
Without tax revenue from data centers, the people who live in Hillsborough are going to end up suffering because they're not going to have the high quality schools that they deserve. And a lot of that cash is just going to flow straight through the city like a sieve.
We're all paying our taxes for the schools. The data centers are not. It feels like that money is being kind of extracted from our community. We pay the infrastructure costs. We don't see tax revenue, and we see the profits being funneled out to people we'll never meet.
Do you want a pen or you use a pencil?
Pen.
For the Nichols family, it's personal.
Here we go.
How is the shortfall for the school district here, how is that impacting your family?
My son's autistic. It makes it so that he cannot get an aide full-time, and it definitely makes it harder on us. We love our teachers, they're amazing, but we do see them doing more with less, and sometimes, unfortunately, less with less.
We actually even lost a 5th and a 4th grade teacher. So now the 3rd and 4th grades have to be split, so the 5th and 6th grades have to be split.
The city of Hillsborough has been making a lot of economic development decisions. At their meetings, the public really hasn't been consulted about what kind of economic development they want and what they want to see from that.
I reached out to the economic development director in Hillsborough, Dan Diaz, but his office said he was, quote, not available for this discussion. Okay, so data centers have both driven down jobs from other industries and depleted key tax revenue. So what have they brought to Hillsborough? What was the trade-off? Driving around the area, it's clear that the construction of these massive data centers has created a demand for temporary construction jobs in Oregon. Electrician Ashley Cummings wanted to get in on that gold rush.
I was studying to be a CNA and randomly decided I'm gonna go be an electrician because those data centers look busy. It was a really good idea. I make a lot of money, it was great, but I don't know if it's gonna last very long. I think after we get them up, they don't need us anymore.
Ashley says her husband works on data centers too, but not in Oregon. He's nearly 2,000 miles away in Abilene, Texas.
My husband decided to go work in Abilene, one of the biggest data centers built in the country. Big as all of the data.
Oh my God, so much is going on in Texas. You've got residents complaining about, the epic cities. You've got residents complaining about the H-1B visas and Indians building big statues of their Hindu statues. And now you have Texas being hit with data centers. Oh gosh, I'm praying for you, Texas. I really am praying for you because it seems like Texas is getting hit in all corners. It's a triangle of of just a hot mess going on in Texas. I just had to say that because poor Texas, poor Texas.
The data centers here in Hillsborough combined into one.
To find out more about what these jobs are really like, I decided to head to Abilene myself.
This is OpenAI's massive Stargate AI data center.
Oh man, I just wanted to stop it and take a look at that data center. There it is. Did I get it? It's huge. Oh darn. I hate that when I can't get it right there.
Texas has given more than $1 billion in tax breaks.
There it
Massive
is.
Stargate.
Check it out. Look how big that is. That's huge. It's ginormous.
AI data center in Abilene, Texas, a $500 billion project with Oracle and NVIDIA. The companies say they're creating some 6,000 temporary construction jobs and some 1,700 long-term jobs. And the state of Texas has given more than $1 billion in tax breaks to welcome data centers. Google announced it's investing $40 billion towards 3 new data centers in Texas. This is what Google CEO Sundar Pichai had to say.
Sundar Pichai. Listen to what he has to say.
We are excited that our data center and energy investments are going to create jobs. Google currently employs thousands of Texans, and we support countless more jobs across the state through our work with local businesses. Second, our continued investment in the state over many years will support thousands of construction jobs.
Texas will be the centerpiece for AI data centers for Google in the entire world.
I wouldn't believe anything that person says.
I came across some construction workers with a California license plate. Just like Ashley's husband, these workers weren't locals.
And they're from all over, from California, Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, North Dakota, West Virginia, all over the United States. We have a lot of stuff energized right now, and pretty soon we're gonna turn on a quarter of the substation, which is gonna be 345,000 volts.
What made you want to travel this far?
The money.
23-year-old Ty Fields is from Sacramento. He's working as an electrician on the substation that will power Stargate, earning $3,200 a week.
That's a lot of money. $3,200 a week. And these guys aren't living there. Once they're done, they're going to go back home. So these are temporary jobs. So when you hear them say data centers are bringing lots of jobs and, construction jobs, it's temporary stuff. Everybody knows once the construction project is done, it's done. That job is over. And a lot of these people are coming from different states. Why? Because they pay for them. Good money. $3,200 a week. Damn, that's good money.
Great money for a 23-year-old,
Can't beat that.
Can't beat that. These are different jobs I've worked on and different companies I've been with. One from Skanska, one from Desk Corp, Phoenix 12, Phoenix 13.
He's sharing an Airbnb for $1,400 a week with a few roommates.
Sit on the bed, make yourself look comfortable.
Including 22-year-old Damian Alvarado from San Antonio.
You see yourselves in this for a long time?
Yeah, I think that electrical and substations especially are very important. I mean, they're going to be around forever, until humanity destroys itself.
It is a bit dystopian.
Very dystopian, yeah. It is on par, 100%. 1984, Fahrenheit 451, Brave New World. Those are all literary pieces that are pretty much line for line what's going on in America today.
Wow, that was impactful of what he just said. And he's young. This is a 23-year-old kid. It kind of blew me away when he said that.
Thousands of temporary workers like Ty and Damien are good news for the real estate industry in Abilene. Short-term housing revenue is up 40% this year, and hotels up 91% compared to the same quarter last year.
Sometimes it's $150 a night, sometimes it's $250.
The housing crunch has been great for Airbnb owners like Ken Hogan, who also heads up Abilene's Real Estate Association.
And we really haven't had any trouble keeping it occupied, so we think it's priced fairly.
Apartments are almost 100% occupied, with rents increasing 20% in the last year.
They pay and they expect to pay a premium for the properties. As soon as we put them out, we have multiple inquiries and applications on them. So it's been good for us.
Just the fact of having that many workers out there, 6,000, 7,000 people, they're going to buy clothing here, fuel.
Yeah, but that's a temporary thing because these guys are coming in from different states. They're not residents working there. They're coming from all over the place. Even Abilene, Texas. The one guy came from where Sacramento. So it's a temporary thing. It's a temporary like bubble, but it's going to pop. It's going to pop when the data center's finished. It's there. It's creating its noise and those people go back home and they're only going to be left with what full-time jobs are they really going to have? What, 2,000 maybe, 1,500 maybe? I think they say 2,000 in this video, but we really don't know what that number is going to be.
Food. They're going to eat in our restaurants, stay in our properties and hotels.
But there's another side.
I've had days where I've literally cried about it when I can't get a place.
Thousands of residents like Honesty, who works as a home health aide in Abilene, can't find a place to live. She is one of 1,000 people in Abilene who have received a housing voucher from the city's housing authority, but can't find a landlord willing to take it, with data center workers driving up the rent.
I get it, they're here to build on Abilene, but as far as like personal care aid people, we're also needed because we're the people that make sure that your next door neighbor, like, they get their mail or their trash gets taken out, or like they get to their doctor's appointments, like things like that.
So if you can't find a place to live, can you stay working here?
No.
Texas is a natural place to study. They have 254 counties.
Economics researcher Michael Hicks decided to study the rise of data centers in Texas to understand what communities are actually getting in return for massive tax abatements. He published his report on Substack. So what did he find?
They're not creating jobs, they're not adding income, they're not providing tax revenue to Texans to build schools, to maintain their road network, or to improve their electric infrastructure, which is a problem in the state.
So, that's a great video. You can go to More Perfect Union to get more of their content. It's really a good video there. What I wanted to do next is put up this put this up right here. It's got the SB 484. That is Governor Ron DeSantis. He signed SB 484 on May 7th, and he did it in Lakeland. And what this does, the bill protects ratepayers. How does it do that? Prohibits utilities from passing data center costs, including electricity costs, onto residential and small business customers. It requires large-scale users to pay their full cost of service, prevents financial risk from being shifted to the public. That's important. It empowers local communities. And how does it do that? It preserves local authority over zoning, permitting, and land use. So, everybody, this is the important thing right here. That's your voice. That's you understanding, staying in tune with what's going on in your community so that you can have a voice and participate and get your people together so that you can decide what happens in your community. This is important. It allows communities to set stricter standards or deny projects. Very important. It ensures data centers are properly classified and regulated. So it doesn't stop data centers from coming to Florida, but it gives the people a little bit of power. It increases transparency and security. How does it do that? It requires public disclosure of data center development deals after the exemption period. What does that mean? I don't know. Do any of you guys know what that means? It establishes clear definitions in law to prevent loopholes. Does anybody have any idea what those loopholes could be? It prohibits utilities from serving data centers owned or controlled by foreign countries of concern. That's important. And then it strengthens infrastructure and environmental standards. How does it do that? It creates a dedicated permitting process for large scale data centers. And I don't know about you, we don't want any large scale data centers. I mean, those, just from looking at this video, and I can promise you, if you do any more research out there, you will find some massive hyper built data centers going up out there. And what they're doing, they're destroying land. um, I have a link down in my description where there's a town that literally flooded because the data center cut down all the trees. They had like a little, farm behind their homes, and they purchased that property, cut down all the trees, moved the landscaping, and when they had a heavy rain pour, I mean, these people had been living in their homes for 32, 42 years, never had a flood, and their homes got flooded because the landscape changed, the elevation changed. They didn't take into account, hey, if we're moving this much sand and land over, we need to make sure that we create a ravine or something where water can go into and not harm the residents. They weren't even thinking about the landscaping and how the change could affect the homeowners. Can you imagine that? Your house gets flooded. Now what has it done to the value of your home? So if you go to the link, I think it's the very bottom one, and it is data centers floods, West Virginia neighborhood floods, and that's Bowman TV. So I put that link down there so you can see what happened to these residents. And the data center was right in their backyard, and that's what we need to pay attention to. These data centers are not being accountable, and that was West Virginia. I know Ron DeSantis is trying to put some steps in order to protect us, but it's also up to us to be nosy, to stick our nose into the county business, to stick our nose into planning and zoning. And when we see these big investors, foreign investors, any big investor buying up land, we need to understand what their intentions are and um, how they're going to decide what they're going to do with that land and what we want to see happen with that land, because it's our community. They're coming to our community and changing the landscape, the demographics. It has a huge impact on our lives, like it has in some of these people in these videos. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. On another note, we have all been talking about property tax. That amendment is coming up for a vote, and some people don't know, but it doesn't stop all property tax. And the reason I want to explain that to you guys is because people are saying, "Oh, we can't afford it. We're going to have how are we going to pay taxes? We need the money." Look, we've got plenty of money coming in. I live in Indian River County. We have so much money that our county commission gives $4 million to nonprofits, to NGOs. And people just come here to open up an NGO because we have the reputation of giving our money away. It pisses me off, but we do. We have the reputation. Hey, if you want to open a nonprofit and be successful, go to Indian River County. Don't go to Brevard County. Brevard County won't do it. Go to Indian River County. That's what they say. And our CSAC will even train you so that you know how to come to our county commission and ask for a grant. Yeah, you know how I feel about it. But let me take you. There's a gentleman, McNamara. He explains it very well. And look him up. He's very informative. I like this guy, so I wanted to share his video with you. So here it comes.
DeSantis announced a $250,000 exemption immediately. The bill they filed doesn't do it immediately. It's $150,000 in 2027 and then $250,000 in 2028. And no mention of $500,000 either. The relief got slower and not as deep. What he sold as day one is now a 2-year phase-in and no road to total abolition. That's the filed bill. Then yesterday in committee, they changed it twice more. And these are pretty big ones.
So today's the 4th. That was 2 days ago. I just want to let you know. Today's the 4th. That was 2 days ago.
Change one, schools. Sunday, I told you the exemption would reach your school taxes. Yesterday, lawmakers carved the schools out completely.
So I knew all along that the exemption was not going to include like your first responders, or your schools. It definitely was not going to include that. I thought it was going to include our NGOs, our CSAC, and our property tax, our homestead. I was wrong there if you heard me say that. So it's just covering the homestead, and like he said, the first step, it's 150,000 the first year, January of 2027, and then January of 2028, it goes to 250,000. Now remember, your homestead followed you in Florida. So if you're going to leave like Indian River County and go live on the West Coast, you can file a document. I should have had that in my head to for your homestead to follow you to your new home, but you can do that through your real estate agent. So let him finish.
The House sponsor said it plainly. Schools are exempt, period, end of story. So your homestead exemption rises to 150, then 250, but doesn't touch the school portion of your bill. You still pay school taxes on your home. Change two, and this is the one that matters the most. Sunday, I called the Backfill Trust Fund the keystone, the state money set aside to keep small rural counties solvent when the tax base shrinks. I told you it was the one thing every failed version was missing, and the reason this one had a chance. Yesterday, both committees deleted it. Gone, stripped out. A Republican senator's reasoning was blunt. There was no actual money behind it. She called it permission to set up an empty bank account. Now, I flagged on Sunday that the trust fund was the fragile part of this bill. Turns out it was way more fragile than I thought.
And that's important for him to bring up because there were a lot of counties that are smaller counties that don't generate a lot of funding. They're already struggling, right? So they were really concerned about it. And we pay taxes in a lot of different ways in our county, and some like I guess I would think like Fowler's Bluff, out there near the Swanee River. That might be a small town that might be struggling. I don't know what county that is, but it's Fowler's Bluff. Bluff. I've been out there, and it's beautiful, and it's so country, and there's like the little town restaurant is more like a diner, but that's and it's also a store where you buy your meat and stuff. So let you hear the rest of what he has to say.
They didn't just leave the rules for later, they removed the fund. So, what's protecting the counties now? Instead of a backfill fund, they wrote in direct protections, walling off school funding and the local offices and services that draw down federal dollars like Medicaid. It's a different approach. Carve out what can't survive the cut. Instead of cutting everything and backfilling it, we'll see if that holds. Here's where it stands as of this morning. It cleared only Senate committee yesterday, 13-5. Floor votes in both chambers are happening today. It needs 60% in each. And even some Republicans who voted yes in committee said they won't back it on the floor without more changes. If it passes, it goes to you, 60% of voters in November. Now hear me on this. What I just told you could be old news by tonight. This bill got rewritten twice in one day. It can get rewritten again on the floor this afternoon. The trust fund could come back. The school carve-out could get renegotiated. That's exactly why I'm doing this daily. I would rather correct one pillar and keep you current than hand you a clean story that's already wrong. Sunday, I missed a piece. I'm telling you straight, and I'm staying on it. The full breakdown, corrected current as of this morning, is in the description. Grab it before the next vote moves everything again. We update this every single day this week. Hit subscribe so you're never the last one to know. This has been the Florida Real Estate Insider. I'm still Tom McNamara. See you in the next one.
All right, I got to say thanks, Tom. But listen, I don't know what the update is today. I don't think they are going to stop any taxes from schools and first responders. It's probably going to, I don't know what the update is as of this moment, but vote for that amendment change on the bill. We're going to be okay. Uh, it's going to be nice for you if you live in $140,000 home and you've your homestead will cover that. You'll have a little bit more money in your pocket. Lord knows we all need it right now because times are tough, times are hard, it's expensive, gas is up. Yeah, we just got to get through these times, right? And for all of those of you that weren't sure about this, I'll try to do another update on it. I'll see what Tom McNamara will McNamara updates us with, and then I'll check the bill myself on the website, the government website, and see what's going on with the bill, and then I will bring an update. Also, I want to remind you guys that we have the elections coming up. If you look up top, I'm trying to remind you every day, every Thursday that I go out, that it's so important for you to vote. Election day is August 18th. We just got redistricted. We used to be District 8. We are now District 9. And let me show you what that looks like. District 9 has changed. So we are now a small part of Orange County, way up top. We are Osceola, a very small chunk of Polk County on the bottom right of Polk County. Highlands, Okeechobee, Glades, and Hendry and Indian River County are all together. So that's District 9. So you've got Indian River County, Okeechobee, Glades, Hendry, Highlands, a small sliver of Polk County, all of Osceola, and a small sliver of Orange County. So those are all the areas that have been encompassed with our District 9. And Soto is the representative for District 9, and he is a Democrat. So we do want to have some Republicans running, and we want to get a more conservative representative for this district, as big as it is. I just want to leave that with you guys to please remember to vote in August. We do have closed primary elections in some areas. We're going to have a closed primary. So if you are independent, we need your vote. We need you to be able to participate and decide who you really want in the race. And the way you do that is you change your registered party for the primaries. And then when you're done at the voting booth, just go and change it back to being independent, and then you can vote for your party. You can vote on your party line for whoever you vote for. So that's my show for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep an eye out for the data centers. Uh, uh, Keep an eye out for solar panels. Not everybody's worried about solar panels, but I do get concerned about it because we don't even know how we're going to get rid of the solar panels, how we're going to reuse them. And we just haven't paid enough attention to that as well. And then also, I just want to always remind you guys that um, we do have Islam still happening in different states, in different cities, where it is becoming an issue with Americans living in that area. We'll look at what's going on in New York City, and we still need to protect our values, our principles, and our Constitution. And Islam is not compatible to American civilization. It's not compatible. It doesn't even recognize our Constitution. So always keep that in mind. Do your research, learn a little bit more, and don't ever say it can't happen here. Don't ever say that. Have a great night. Remember, we come on every Thursday at 7 p.m. And join us on the board report also. I host the board report on Fridays, or I co-host. Last week, Thomas Kenny was the host on the board report. And we are going to have Michael Dilks on the board report because he has announced that he wants to run for sheriff. That's another story for you to look at. Have a good weekend.